It's time to have our Health Friday conversation, and today we want to focus on a condition known as multiple sclerosis. We are joined by the founder and chairman of the Multiple Sclerosis Kenya Foundation, Isaack Kasyoka. Isaack, good morning.
Good morning to you. Thank you for the interview.
This is the hot seat of Kenya's biggest conversation, and we want to learn a lot more about multiple sclerosis. To welcome you first to the conversation, City will give you the day's proverb. Listen to the proverb, and then you'll give us your interpretation of that proverb.
Yes. Without effort, no effort. Sorry, it's harvest actually. Without effort, no harvest will be abundant.
Without effort, no harvest will be abundant.
Well, my understanding for that proverb is that everything has to be done with a certain degree of effort. Because if you sit down and wait, nothing will come to your way. In a way, that's what I understand by the proverb. You have to put in work for you to reap. Otherwise, when you sit down, no work will come. And that is the slogan which guides Multiple Sclerosis Foundation. Yeah.
So first, tell us, what is multiple sclerosis? We've heard about it in sometimes. We hear MS, we see, but I bet you not many people actually know what this is.
All right. MS. Allow me to call it MS in short. Because for me, multiple sclerosis is quite a mouthful. So MS is a degenerative disorder whereby the nervous system is attacked by itself. Healthy cells of the central nervous system are attacked, and you find yourself walking in a funny way. As I usually say, walking in italics.
That is italics.
Yeah, you stagger when you stagger when you are walking, and also you look like a drunkard. Basically, 100% of the symptoms of MS are of a drunkard. One is your lips are discolored. That is one. Two, you walk while staggering. Three, your speech is sluggard in a way. There are so many. 4, your eyes are always red. 5, your eyes are always watery. So in a way, it is just mlevi, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, people will see a multiple sclerosis person and think, we're melewa.
Actually, I remember a day I went to church myself. And then after getting to church, I will not mention the church, neither will I mention the name. I was told, the pastor told me later on, far much later on, he was asked by a quote-unquote mzee wa kanisa, kwani you allow walevo ingia kanisa siku hizi? Because even when I walked in here, you saw, usually I'm never very 100% stable. So there are some things which I know in my mind that I should not do. So when the pastor was asked, kwani mnakubali walevo ingia kanisa? He texted back to the mzee and told him, huyo mtu sio mlevi. Huyo mtu akona condition fulani. He told me about it. And then I was so happy the pastor defended me. There are many places we've gone. I've gone personally, leave alone me. Other members of the foundation have gone. Now, the first interpretation is that you are drunk. Otherwise, if I stand here and tell you, I personally hate alcohol. Personally. Actually, I cannot sit in the same room with a drunkard. Because that, you know the smell of alcohol. The cheap one. Actually, the cheap one now. Because the expensive one is not irritating. I hate. I can sense someone taking a cigarette, like kuvuta cigara, like very far, like 50 meters away from me. I can sense, and those are things I hate.
Isaack, you said it's a condition where the nervous system attacks itself. What does that mean?
What it means is that it's autoimmune. Autoimmune is whereby you can relate this with autopilot. If you've gone into a plane, which I believe you've gone, There are times when the plane gets to a cruising level, the pilot just puts autopilot and then the plane goes by itself. So autoimmune is loosely interpreted as a situation whereby your immunity is very high. And now the nerves, or rather the cells, see it as a threat. So they start attacking it. And this in return causes something called demyelination. There's there's a report I'll send you later on, whereby the nerves assume, okay, this is not a good example. A live wire, a red wire. So unajua zile, the red wire and the white wire, the black wire. Black and the other one is blue, the other one is yellow. Yeah, now let me go with the red one, which is the live one. Now remove the covering of the red one, and then remove the covering of the black one. What will happen next?
The same.
It's a shock.
You do not know
which is which.
Which is neutral.
They're the same, so you'll touch any.
Yeah.
So basically, autoimmune causes demyelination. Demyelination is the act of removing the covering of the nerves at the spinal cord. Whereby the spinal cord is part of the central nervous system. When the covering is removed, information flows slowly, and that causes the staggering gait. You go staggering. Before a message from your brain, you see the brain controls everything.
Yeah.
Before a message from the brain to your mind is the left foot, to your feet reaches. If it is Eric, already Eric has walked, but Isaac is still, the message is still going. So he hasn't moved yet.
Wow.
So now when he moves, before you see the message goes in bits. The first bit gets there, and then basically before the second bit gets there, you stagger.
Okay. How early on do you know that somebody has MS?
How early is you see MS is diagnosed based on elimination. Like I shall give my personal example. MS, I was first diagnosed with arthritis. Then it was rolled out. I was diagnosed with, I remember a doctor, I'm not going to mention, who told me, uko na ugonjwa wazee. Now, when someone tells you have a disease for the elderly, what have they told you? Ideally. So there is no age which you can be diagnosed with MS. Any age is you can be diagnosed anytime. And also it depends on your activity of going to the hospital.
Okay. Tell us your story, Isaac.
My story is very, very weird and funny in a way, because back in 2019, I started staggering. Before I even get to 2019, let's start with 2000. 2000, I was I come from Chitwande. That's my home, a place called Kambo. Back in Kambo, I had eye problems. But when I go to the hospital, say, you are diagnosed, you are measured, unapimwa. They used to say, the boy is okay. There is no problem. Because ideally, I could see up to date. My left eye has an issue. If you look at me closely, you realize that my left eye is kind of smaller than the right eye. But I have a very good eyesight.
On both?
No, on the right one.
On the right eye.
On the general one. So I used to go to the hospital. Then kuna hizo vitu zinaekangwa usome. I could read all of them, from the biggest to the smallest, from the longest distance to the shorter distance, because you see they measure based on the distance, and then you are told cover your right eye, cover your left eye, things like that. Then the problem disappeared. I was given some drugs which looked like a toothpaste. I would put inside the eye, like literally inside. So now that was 2000. The problem just disappeared. I don't know where it went to. I don't know whether it was a mess or it was not. Then in 2004, it recurred. The same thing, repeat.
How old were you?
2004. 2000, I was 8. I was in class 1. Then 204, of course, I was born in 92. So 204, I was 12. So now the same problem recurred. Then I went to high school, Machakos Boys. Machakos Boys, I suffered the first neurological illness. That is Bell's palsy. My lip. Ilivurutwa, I don't know the English word, so you'll forgive me. Ilivurutwa to the
right.
To the right. You see, the left will be weaker. So if the right is strong, it will pull it. So
you had Bell's palsy now.
Yes, that was in Form 2. That was 2009. I had Bell's palsy. I remember I went to Aga Khan. I was given drugs and preps. I think you know what preps means. The evening classes. I remember walking into a class. Then I staggered into the class. The teacher was like, you see, there's usually the teacher on duty. Was like, ukijana ametoka kulewa. My friend, I'm sober. And then I was given a beating of a lifetime. Anyway, that is a situation I'll never forget.
Because then they thought that this Form 2
is drunk.
At
and
prep time.
At prep time.
Right.
And if you know the history of Form 2s, Form 2s are assumed to be the rowdiest students, the troublemakers in a school. So you can imagine the perception which the teacher had already. So I was beaten. Anyway, I was beaten a lot. And then I was released. When they saw Sinuki Pombe, you are not smelling alcohol, you are just okay. Because that time Aga Khan had given me, I don't know how many tablets. I was taking more than 10 in the evening only.
Did they explain to you what those tablets were for?
Yeah, they explained to my brother. I was a minor. They explained to my brother. So now that was Form 2. Then somewhere in the university, I went to the university, my girlfriend, I woke up with pain. You see, in all joints, I woke up with pain. Ukikunja kidole hivi, kuna uchungu hapa. Ukifanya mkono hivi, kuna uchungu hapa. So I woke up with pain. We went to an hospital along Langata Road. I used to live in Rongai. The same story, repeat. There is no illness. I was done a full hemogram. Then I was told you are not sick. You only have malaria, which will clear out within a short time. Then I went home. Of course, I went back to the house. Then in 2019 is when the symptom of staggering kicked in. So I noticed when you draw a line, say back in college, in the university, for us to measure whether you are drunk or you are sober, we will tell you to walk along a line of tiles. So I noticed I could not walk along that line. And then I'm like, am I drunk? No, I'm not.
I have not taken anything.
I've not taken anything, but I can't walk anyway. So when I was in the house, that time I'd moved to Wayaki Way. My brother, a senior of mine, called me, akaniambia, come we meet in town. Then when we met in town, he told me, let me record you. Walk along this side. So you see, I had not told him the problem. But him himself had observed by himself. But he had not told me still. He told me, let me record you as you walk along this line. And that's when I saw how severe it was. It was very severe. I could not maintain myself. along that line of tiles. So I was taught to go to the hospital. And as I said earlier on, MS is based on elimination. It's a disability and it's based on elimination. So now I went to see a neurologist because definitely the doctors are not helping me in any way. When you go to see a general physician, XID. So I went to see a neurologist somewhere in Upper Hill, who told me, go get a lower lumbar scan or MRI. So I went to get a lower lumbar MRI. And there's a doctor we call Dr. Google. Dr. Google is the best doctor. I can tell you for free. Actually, Dr. Google diagnosed me. So I get an MRI for lower lumbar. I take back the report. But before I go to City Shuttle. When I just entered, what do you do first? You start Googling. What is this you have written in the report? Because it's not sealed anyway.
Yeah.
So you can open it. So I researched. They had not written a mess yet. So I took to the doctor. After taking to the doctor, he sends me back. He tells me, now, go get a brain MRI, my friend. That is the worst place to be in an MRI machine. You feel the magnetic field flowing in your body in a way. So now I went to get a brain MRI. They wanted here with contrast. I don't know, something they injected in my veins. Yeah. So now the report came out, and my scan, the printouts, were like they had Christmas lights, as in they had white things. They had white things. You see, in an MRI, in the printout, you'll see the oval thing, your brain.
Yep.
But now my brain, if you look at my tag, I've explained it. A normal person has a black printout. But mine was white. That's why I call it Christmas. So now it had white things, which later the neuro interpreted they were lesions in a way. So now I was very, very afraid. And after I've got out of the MRI place, that is PCA Kikuyu. Kuingia City Shuttle hivi. What do I do first again?
Go to Dr. Google.
Dr. Google. It is written there, possible multiple sclerosis. Then I go to Dr. Kwasa. Kwasa tells me, my friend, you should be in the hospital right now. And then I'm like, am I dying? I don't want to die. Of course, no one wants to die. Even the pastors. They don't want to die. They should tell us heaven is beautiful, things of that sort, but they don't want to go there. So now I get into the vehicle and I jump straight to Google. What is multiple sclerosis? No, I first called one of my sisters in Kamoliza. What is demyelination? She's a medical student. She told me demyelination is whereby the myelin sheath is removed. Have you ever freaked out? I freaked out, my friend. I thought you've been reading Kasyoka, you've been seeing Kasyoka in the streets, but now Kasyoka is going. Where are you going, my friend? And then I was lucky enough, I Googled again. Actually, what gave me your hope or encouragement is I Googled somewhere. Someone in the UK said they were diagnosed at 8 and they are now 60 and they are still kicking on. So that gave me hope in a way. So I take to Dr. Kwasa. Dr. Kwasa writes for me a list of 10 hospitals. 10 hospitals, and then they were the expensive hospitals. And then number 11, and I'm like, the 10 hospitals he has written, I can't afford any. Even consultation only. I can't afford. So number 11, he wrote KNH. I know right now the health situation is shaky, but number 11, he wrote KNH. And I was like, I can afford that one. So now, when I was like, I can afford that one, I went to that one. For a week, he wrote a prescription of infusion of solomedrol, which is like a resuscitation for MS. You see, MS does not have medication. So there is resuscitation, whereby I was worse nilikuwa mbaya than I am right now. So I went to KNH. That was 2022. Because my 2019 was end of 2019. But 2022, I don't know whether you know something called denial. Denial, you don't want to accept that you are at a certain place. You want to live in a house of rent, 50,000, but your salary is 10K. You see, that is not adding up in a way. So ideally, I got out. I went to KNH, and then at KNH, I was lucky. Ideally, people with autoimmune conditions, they have their own wards, or this rare chronic conditions. You see, MS is chronic. These chronic conditions, they have their own wards. So I was lucky. I was not put in the. I was asked, "Do you want to go to the private wing or the general ward?" General public ward. I was like, I took a back first before I was like, even the private wing, can you afford?
That's a question.
Do you have the money? So I went to the public one. So I expected to be put, you see, there's a picture that is painted of KNH. There's a picture of Uko Utaumia. And me, I can say my stars aligned because I was put in a room, a bed sitter. So as I call it, because it had a tap, we were only 3 in the room. It was like a semi-private, I can call it. So now I was put there. They used to administer solomedrol in the evening and in the morning. So when someone says me, like now, Eric, I can tell you when I'm seated, the way I'm seated, you can't tell if I have MS or not, if I am suffering or not. Wait until I stand. When I stand is when you see enyewe.
There's something with Kasyoka.
There's an issue. So after that, I got home. I went back home after the week, the 7 days. I was very strong. I was running around. Okay, right now I can't run. But I was running around. And then I went to the countryside. No, I went back to my home. That is Waikwe. But later on in 2022 May, October, I went home. My home now. I went home. I had something I was doing there. Then after going home, I realized MS in a way is affected by extremes. That is either extreme cold or extreme heat. Because even my first symptom came out when I was living in Mombasa. So now I realized MS is affected by either heat
or cold.
And then I was stressed by someone with other MS people who joined me, the other MS people. I got the push. How many people? Actually, Eric, I can tell you today, there are so many MS patients, but they have technically given up in life because you are suffering from a condition which no one understands.
People don't understand it.
Yeah, no one will ever get it.
Yeah.
So now many people have sought to just give up in life because there's nothing they can do.
Now
So-
you'll tell us about the foundation.
All right.
You'll tell us about what's happening in the country with other people who have MS.
And then I will also tell you about my giving up
Yep.
before I register as a PWD.
Indeed.
Obviously, you've gone through this experience on your own, and you were then diagnosed, one would assume. You were diagnosed with MS. What happened after that for you to decide that you wanted to create awareness about this, and what led to that?
Basically, what led to my decision is, as I told you, I was diagnosed, I was given 10 hospitals, and I was like, I can't afford any of them. And I remember Isaac is jobless. No job, no nothing. So now that is 2022. Isaac is just there. We can't do anything.
And you finished university?
Yeah, I finished in 2016.
What did you study?
I did a Bachelor of Cooperative Business Finance.
Not that I understand what that is.
I am an accountant by profession.
See?
And then I have an MBA.
Now, see. Thoroughly educated man. And you couldn't get a job.
No, you see, there's a time I went for an interview. And then the interviewer was like, we have the job, but we are not employing drunkards.
Oh dear.
Yep.
Will you even start explaining to that person what
Yep.
you are suffering from? Because they already remember
they looked at you and they wondered, surely
this is a
you're coming for
potential
an
employer.
interview staggering.
Exactly.
Young man.
Exactly. And then you see, there's no way you can defend yourself, because in a way your lips are discolored. What discolors lips? Changa. Or can say the cheap liquor. So now
I who has discolored lips, I'm also a changa drinker.
We should look.
We should check that out.
you won.
Or I was a changa drinker.
Oh, you are one. So now
So you're in this condition where Kasyoka is educated, he has qualified, he has a master's degree, but he has no job, and yet he's been told you have multiple sclerosis. Okay. This is a period of denial, like you told us.
Yeah, it's a period of denial, especially denial of that you are a person with disabilities, in a way, because you have to use a third leg when you're walking. You can't walk straight on a straight line. So it's funny. It's weird in a way. So now denial came in the year 2022 again. I denied up to December 2023. Actually, I was told to go register as a PWD when they were infusing me with Solimetral. And I told them, why do you register and you are still okay? Actually, if I meet you, you say, this guy is still okay. So in 2023, I don't know, I am a living testimony that the heavens have a God. Because basically, 2023 December, I applied for registration. And in a record 1 week, I got my certificate. Nobody else in Kenya of whom I know has got a certificate in that time. Because you see, you've denied, and these doctors, I even don't know them. They are strangers to me. I remember I took another mzee juzi, and then the doctor was remembering me. He told me, yo, you are the MS guy. And then it was like, nyi ndio walevi wenye mkunywangi. And that's why we got the tagline. Sisi ni walevi wenye wakunywangi. So that denial led me to a situation whereby I had to register. And then, as I said, the stars aligned. The day I got the day I got my medical report. You see, there is a medical report, and then there is assessment, and then you wait for like forever to get your
certification.
To get your assessment.
Right.
Assessment report, and then you apply again. It was that way. The day I got my medical report, when I was traveling back home, I get a message saying now PWDs can register online
Right.
through eCitizen. Me, I don't know. There are many stories which I would not like to be a part of. I register online. I make an application online, and then after the first application, I realized because in my house I have internet, so I realized there's a document I uploaded wrongly. So I do another application at the same night. So within 3 days, kumbe they are testing the system. I get my
So
number.
you got your number.
I get my number.
You're among those people. Now tell us about,
Uh-huh.
once you establish the foundation, the Multiple Sclerosis Foundation, of course you now, through the doctors and others, you are able to reach out to other people who have MS.
Actually, for you to register a foundation, you need to have directors or trustees.
Yes.
So now we registered our foundation in. The idea came when I was diagnosed because of the financial constraints. The idea came in 2021 or 22, sorry, but it was not actualized. For it to, I told you my things work in a way which I never understand. That's why I'm telling you, the heaven answer God. When we were registering, I just told people, let's come together. We register foundation so that other people can be diagnosed. We will finance them through, let's say, money which we get from donors. And donors could be anyone. Even Eric is a donor.
All well wishers.
Anyone, any well-wisher, in short. We'll get that money. Then we'll sponsor people to see a neuro. If the neuro requests for an MRI, we sponsor them again to get an MRI.
Right.
So that is the purpose of the foundation. So far, we have sponsored a couple. We have like 5, and then they were diagnosed.
This year alone, I presume.
No,
Or how-
2023.
Since last
2024,
year.
we've only sponsored one person.
Okay.
We are in March, anyway. And then you see March is MS Awareness Month. And then May 30th will be MS Day.
Okay.
We are planning to host it in Kenya. So now we registered the foundation. In Kenya, normally to register a foundation, it takes 120 days, which is roughly 4 months. Yeah, 4 months. But our foundation, without knowing anyone, without pushing it, just feeling a citizen, we took a record 3 weeks to get a
Right.
certificate.
Right.
We don't know how that happened. And that's why I'm saying the heavens have a God. And then after you got a foundation, the goal is to popularize MS as much as possible
To make people know.
about MS.
How many people do you know, Isaack Kasyoka,
Me
who
personally,
have MS?
oh, sorry. Personally, I know, are they 100 so far? Oh, in the group, in the WhatsApp group, we are like 100. But I can tell you, there are many people with MS, but they are undiagnosed. You see, the problem is diagnosis. That is a key thing.
So what happens to them when they go to the hospital? When you say they are undiagnosed, when somebody goes to the hospital with conditions such as yours, you've told us, number one, you cannot walk in a straight line. You find yourself jaywalking and staggering. Number two, your speech is slurred. Number three, your eyes are red.
Always.
Number four, you will have discolored lips, and so on and so forth. When these people go to the hospital, what are they told
You see,
in this process of elimination? What is the first thing that the doctors are eliminating?
the first thing I think, I don't know my first thing, let me talk about my first thing, was arthritis. You see, if you go to a doctor and then you are complaining, you have a problem with your knee. What comes to the mind of the doctor, and I'm sorry to say this, but Gen Z doctors, or even our generation doctors, they use Dr. Google a lot. So you'll go and then you'll see a doctor typing. Of course, you're not seeing the screen.
Yeah.
So it's you are behind the screen. So they will type, and then what happens when someone is staggering or when someone has a painful knee? They tell you arthritis. So when they tell you arthritis, you don't have arthritis. Like somewhere I skipped a part of my story. When I was told I have arthritis, I was given some tembe to go and take. There were not many, there were few. But you see, when you are taking drugs, you should be feeling
Some
better
improvement.
with time.
Yeah.
But funny enough, I was not feeling better. So I went back to the hospital. I told them, it is okay, you are doctors, I am an accountant, I know debit, credit, you know inject. But the drugs you gave me
Are not.
are not working.
There's no change.
There's no change.
Next to be eliminated.
I told them the problem is not in my leg. The problem could be here. So the doctor was very rude to me. He told me, sasa unatuambia kazi yetu. And that was the end. I went home. The next thing to be eliminated, I went to another hospital. I was told I have a problem with my sciatica nerve.
Sciatic nerve, yeah.
I don't know. That is medical jargon.
Yeah.
So I was told that. Then I was injected some drugs. 3. So I went today, I was injected. Tomorrow I was injected, and the day after tomorrow I was injected. So basically, after I went home, the same story, repeat. There is no change. You're not seeing any change. And then
So we could say that for many people with MS, undiagnosed with MS, they may have gone to a hospital, diagnosed with one condition, it doesn't improve, go to another condition is diagnosed, and this is all a cost.
it's a cost.
So this could be a factor that is discouraging many from pursuing further
Diagnosis.
hospital visits and diagnosis.
So that's where we are coming in now as a foundation to support this person to acquire this diagnosis. Actually, as we say, because I was, I can say, am I allowed to talk politics? Yeah.
Let's hear it.
You go ahead.
Say what you want to say, please.
So I vied as an MCA. And my political party was not popular in my region, so I never made it. I became number 3. But when I was campaigning, I could see this is a young man. He has the same exact condition, characteristics, or other symptoms which I had.
Right.
I could always see. And then I could tell. They used to say, I used to walk around with water. I hear competitors used to say, huyu jamaa huwa anadunga pombe kwa maji yake kila asubuhi.
Where?
So I was like, I quit. I lifted my hands. I said, politics with me, I'll never try again. Because my idea is...
Why do you want to go into politics?
Eh?
Why did you want to go into politics?
No, I want to go into politics because I want to be an agent of change. Or rather, I want to be a voice which causes people to view things in a certain way.
Yes.
Because you see, as a PWD, even though I was not registered, I knew as a PWD in Kenya, you'll find most people have PWDs in the house, but they are hidden. They are not brought outside to the world. So now I wanted people to believe also we can do something. Like he was saying, me personally, you see my undergraduate and my master's is just a drop in the ocean. I have 12 years accounting experience. I have CIFA. I have CICT, that is from CASNEB. And then I have FMVA. My CV is quite voluminous. But now, because you are staggering, you can't do it. I remember, actually, currently I don't apply for jobs. Why don't I apply? Because I fear judgment. Actually, the last job I applied, I think, was in 2023, somewhere in June. And since then, I have never applied for any other job. I gave up. And then when I was growing up, I wanted to be a media person. I wanted to be a news presenter. That's why I started journalism club in Machakos Boys. But up to date, JAB. JAB joint admissions
Joint
board.
Admissions Board,
Yes.
which is now
Inakaanga hivi
called
which is
KUPS.
KUPS. Hiyo jina ngumu hiyo. Walikuwa nakaa chini wanasema you look like you can do engineering. Go there. Walikuwa nakaa chini wanasema you look like you can do a certain course.
But you know that is not entirely true.
So actually, you see, when we were making the applications,
Yeah.
we had 4
When you're
options.
selecting your school.
We had 4 options. So my 4th option, not even my 4th, an option which was not there, is what I did.
Is what you ended up doing.
Now you see my point now.
I actually see your point.
An option which was not even there
Yeah.
is what I ended up doing. I remember getting my brother, because I registered with my brother's phone. He got a message and he told me, in Kikamba, you're going to do Bachelor of Cooperative Business. And I was like, what is that? Where does it come from? Actually, my 4th choice was BCom.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's the accounting course which people
Yeah,
know.
which, that's what is known.
That's what they gave you.
Yeah.
Become in cooperatives.
Yeah, they gave me BCom in cooperatives. Actually, you get the point, because when we went to school, we were schooling with, there was a class of Bachelor of Commerce. That's BCom. But now, they had always, from 1st year through 4th year, they always add less of 2 units from us, because ours have 2 other cooperatives units.
Right.
So always they had an extra, less. We always add an extra.
But the other units were the same.
The others were the same.
Okay.
Financial accounting, risk
the other units are the
assessment.
same.
Now, about your foundation, we're interested in this. When you set it up, how long did it take you to set it up, and how did you get to choose the directors which you said were necessary in the formation of this foundation?
Actually, when we were choosing the directors, the only person who is not a patient, me, I was interested in the patients because, in a way, I realized that we can't do it without assistance. So the only person who is not a patient is our treasurer, because we need them to make sane decisions in a way. So now, choosing the directors, the treasurer still has a son who is MS diagnosed. So we narrowed to
MS.
to
people
MS.
who know
MS people.
and who
People
live.
are either infected or affected. And there's a joke which I carry around. MS people, in one way or the other, it's a joke, are HIV carriers. They can never turn positive, because when a virus comes to them, it is kicked out.
It's rejected immediately.
But one key thing which I have noticed, homa, the mafua,
Common cold.
can in a way make an MS patient sit down. Yani inaweza kuweka chini. Utumie. Homa tu.
Okay.
The common one. Homa tu. Me, when I get homa, I close myself in the house for 3 days without leaving, because living is exposing yourself to contamination in a way.
Back to the foundation. How do you engage with the public? How do you engage with policymakers?
How we engage with policymakers? We hold barazas or multiple sclerosis campaigns. That is campaigns with in churches. Like for example, we held a campaign in Isaack and Martin's Cow and Dani, where we talked to the congregants about MS, and we educated them that they should take the people for diagnosis. Actually, I remember after the talk, normally you don't do the talk because of fluency. It's advisor who does the talk. After the service, more than 10 people were coming to me and telling me, you know my brother, you know my relative, you know someone in our family who anastaga tu na kunywangi. And then I'm like, bring them for testing. They should. And then we also work with neurologists. The name neurologist is a mouthful. So I avoid it. We work with neuros. Neuros help us to diagnose or to talk to patients in a way. Then the other thing is we work with the administration. We tell them we want to talk to people regarding multiple sclerosis. Actually, the what we ride on with is autoimmune conditions. And then the other thing we are working with is Ministry of Health. That is under rare diseases Kenya. Rare diseases, MS is very rare. So it's very hard to find someone with MS, but we work with them. We work with the ministry. So, but ideally, doing all these things require resources. And resources will come from well-wishers. For us to create an awareness, because MS in Africa, you see the condition is already there. But MS in Africa at large, iko tu, munaijua tu.
But we just don't know what this is.
You don't know what this is.
How can people support the foundation?
People can support the foundation by paying to our pay bill. That is 880-100.
880-100.
Then the account number is 1 maratano. 1
Five times.
maratano. I love 0.
Okay.
Yeah, that is our account number. Then you'll get a message. Of course, the ambassador message will come. And then the NCBA bank message will come. We have an account with the NCBA bank. And then if you want to go to a direct transfer to NCBA, the account number is, I'm allowed to say it.
Yes.
Our account number is...
People may not get it. Where can they get the information? Do you have a website? A Facebook page, a social media page?
We have a Facebook page.
What's a Facebook page called?
Multiple Sclerosis Kenya Foundation.
Multiple Sclerosis Kenya Foundation. So
Or even mine.
Or yours.
Isaack
Kasyoka.
Or Kasyoka Mulo.
Okay. Kasyoka, thank you very much for joining us today. And thank you for taking this moment to educate Kenyans and create awareness about multiple sclerosis.
Thank you.
Isaack Kasyoka is the founder and chairman of the Multiple Sclerosis Kenya Foundation. Support them. Again, the pay bill number is 880-100. And for the account, 1 5 times and ends with a 0. That's 111110.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.